JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday. Good evening, all. Purgatorus, Tones, Teabag 2020. What's going on, my friend? Welcome in. If you've got something to say to me, you can say it right here in chat. Or you can give us a ringy-ding-ding at 917-830-4359. Or come to my Discord. You're on the Discord? You can hop in the Debate Freakin' Discord channel. Just tell me that you're in there and I'll pop in there. And you can have a little discussion with me about what you noticed about my channel. Welcome. Gonna be another wild ride here on the show. That's what we do every night. What am I smoking? So this morning, the Republican conference nominated Tom Emmer to be Speaker of the House. And by this evening, Tom Emmer had dropped out of the race to be Speaker of the House. How many people flipped on Trump since the last time I saw you? Anybody want to take some bets? It is multiple. Breaking news like in the last couple of hours on who flipped on Trump. I said it the other day, but I'm going to reinforce it now. Trump is fucked. The UN has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Israel has called for the immediate resignation of the head of the UN. Hey, you can't make this shit up. A Washington state senator was arrested on his way back from Hong Kong, apparently. A cop in Missouri went to a trunk or treat event and told everybody he was going to shoot the place up. Got some body cam video out of Florida. I'm not even going to tell you what happens. Just knowing I got body cam video out of Florida should be enough to sell you on sticking around to the end of the show. A Shania, I said, for some reason I wrote Shania Twin. A Shania Twin concert. A Shania Twain concert in Nashville did $350,000 worth of damage. All that and a lot gimping more tonight on the Troll Patrol.
Sexual anarchy.
Super Tag, good evening. Hello, Ray. Ray, good evening. I'm glad you're on time. If you hadn't been on time, I would prescribe a titty slap.
A titty slap! Give me those titties,
Come on now.
I don't know why the black screen is there. That shouldn't be there. I'm going to have to go redo that one. It should have just been the GIF flying in. Giving the people what they want. Like Senator Kennedy who wants some cock.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
God, why did I unleash that on the world? Yeah, I've been doing a little work today. Shining a flashlight in my window. Got me worried over here. I got Jaden trying to dox me. Meme of the day. Because apparently me just fucking with a bigot's wife, making jokes about the bigot. Somehow that means that doxing me is cool. Jaden, my friend, I hate to tell you, but doxing someone far, far, far fucking worse than I'm picking on an innocent woman. The hot item at Spirit Halloween this year is the Speaker of the House costume. But But let's get back to my friend Jaden, shall we? The dipshit that maybe drove to Alabama yesterday from Indiana. Because I have been trying to teach bigot-ass Chris the Skis a lesson, he came to my page slandering the LGBTQ community, calling them pedophiles and child molesters, because he called me a pedophile and a child molester for months before I decided to Photoshop his wife into a picture and start calling him Cucky. Jaden here has taken up for Cucky because I assume he thinks Chris might let him fuck his wife. Miss Mullet is not my type, but more power to you, Jaden. You seem very lonely. That's why you're riding my nuts. Jaden makes this graphic thinking he's cute, which caused me to make an this one in response. Graphic design is my passion. He told me I kind of like this Photoshop. I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't use Photoshop. You don't have the skill or the talent. But he makes this picture. First of all, you are defaming me. I don't really care that you say my sex is undefined or you're accusing me of online sexual harassment, but one count of obscene material involving a minor, that is a serious charge. That's what fucking Chris did, calling me a child molester and a pedophile. Not only are you defaming me, I have shown both of you repeatedly that organizations that fight child exploitation say what you are doing harms their efforts. But you're trying to white knight Chris's wife by doing something that literally harms children. And you are defaming me. I did not post obscene material involving a minor. That's a serious charge. That is literally a crime, Jaden. Trying to dox me is literally a crime, Jaden. Now, I blurred out the address. I didn't do it last night, and I should have. I blurred out the address. It's not my address, but it is somebody's address. And your dumbass it posted this all over the place online. One count of obscene material involving a minor with some random person who is completely innocent in this. You posted their address. Putting them, I get death threats daily, you dumb shit. You are putting an innocent person in danger. So somebody would see this and think somebody that's been involved with distributing obscene material involving a minor lives at the address you put on there. And you think you're in the right. You think you're in the right, motherfucker. Look at you. Me photoshopping Miss Mullet into pictures far less egregious than everything you've done to me. Not only that, his reasoning is that I attacked an innocent woman. That's what he has said over and over again. That's the reason why he's trying to dox me. But weird because this is an innocent woman who Chris got into her DMs and called her a cunt. That's the dude you're defending. A dude that literally attacks innocent women. You're a hypocrite, and you called me a coward multiple times. Who's the fucking coward? Call the fuck in, Jaden. 917-830-4359. Or hop in the Discord. Have a discussion with me man to man. You won't, because you're a ballless piece of shit. who deserves a titty slap.
A titty slap! What?
Come on now.
I mean, if there's new developments, I'll give them to you, Libertad. I am going to get off it now. We've got a lot of news to cover. What that news be doing? That's what people tune in to the Troll Patrol for, to find out what that news be doing. And I'm a man of the people. I want to give everybody what they want. A video online has been viewed millions of times. It's a new viral sensation. Here is Donald Trump being told he about to go to jail.
Let's go this way. All right, we're going to go walk to the press van. I'm not sure where our press van was at. There we go. Okay.
Right Side Broadcasting trying to cut away from the person with the bullhorn, yelling that Donald Trump is going to jail. Lock him up indeed, DJ Dub.
Let's go this way. All right, we're going to go walk to the press van. I'm not sure where our press van was at. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and toss to a commercial. We'll be live as we're here in New Hampshire. Let's toss.
And they cut to Mike Lindell.
I was on crack.
Right.
All right-wingers are little bitches, just like Jaden's a little bitch. One more time, I enjoyed that. Of course not.
All right, we're going to go walk to the press van. I'm not sure where our press van was at. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and toss to a commercial. We'll be live as we're here in New Hampshire. Let's toss.
Wow, they can't even expose their audience to heckling. And that's exactly what it is. They saw what happened to Fox News just for accurately calling the election for Joe Biden. They saw what happened to Fox News, even though they did a 180 and fucking sucked up to them and promoted the big lie. Right Side Broadcasting saw what happened to Fox News. They don't want to lose the Trump sycophant viewers. And if any little thing upsets the little snowflakes that kiss Trump's ass, they'll go away. All right, this video that's embedded here, it wasn't the video about the story. I was just gonna read the story, but apparently they've updated the video and it is about the story now. So, why might someone be chanting that Donald Trump is going to jail as if it wasn't obvious before today? It's even more crystal clear. The writing is on the wall. Donald Trump is fucked, because I'm going to tell you about another one of his lawyers pleading guilty. And I'm going to tell you about his former chief of staff cutting a deal with the special counsel.
Breaking news in the special counsel's election case against former President Donald Trump. Sources telling ABC News that the former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, has been granted immunity in that case in exchange for testifying before the grand jury. So bringing us this story is ABC News chief Washington correspondent and co-anchor of This Week, Jonathan Karl. Thank you so much for being with us, John. So first of all, what more are you learning from your sources at this hour?
This is a major development, Kana. The world had been watching this case for what Mark Meadows would do. Mark Meadows was Donald Trump's chief of staff. He was at his side throughout that entire post-election period where Trump was trying to overturn the presidential election, one of his most loyal and important aides. And what we're learning is that he has told federal prosecutors that the election was not stolen in his view. In fact, he said to those prosecutors, we are told, according to our sources, that he agreed with the assessment that the 2020 election was the most secure election in American history. And he told prosecutors, according to our sources, that he repeatedly told Donald Trump that the claims of widespread election fraud that they were hearing that were coming in were not turning out to be true. So this is a clear
Justin, good evening.
Case, both in terms of the federal investigation into President Trump's efforts to overturn the election, but also, frankly...
Well, that is exactly what Mark Meadows did, was ran to Jack Smith. He had been trying to get his case in Georgia thrown out or bumped up to the federal level because I think he's always had this deal in his back pocket. We're just learning about it within the last couple of hours. But I'd say he's had this deal ready to go for quite some time.
In the political background as well, because if Donald Trump now has his former chief of staff saying that everything that he was saying, about the election being stolen, that he didn't agree with, that wasn't true. I mean, this is a major break with the former president by one of his most trusted and loyal lieutenants.
Right, at tremendous odds here. So, John, of course, at the heart of this, as you really talked about there, was the former president's baseless allegations that the 2020 election was stolen. And Meadows, according to your sources,
Evening, Warlord.
The striking break from his boss's claims. The big picture, though, as you talked about, how does this play into the former president's legal challenges, of which there are many, which we will talk about?
He's facing obviously multiple legal challenges. He's got the case about classified documents.
We don't use the word bitch anymore. I'm banning the word bitch from chat. From now on, we call it being a Jaden.
He has the Georgia election interference case. He has this case. He also has the case up in New York, multiple cases in New York, one against his company, one against him for his alleged, hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. There's a lot out there. But this really gets at perhaps the most far-reaching.
This is the big one.
Case. That is that Donald Trump illegally tried to overturn the presidential election. So now here you have the person that was at his side, literally at his side, on January 6th, but also right there with him as he was going through all of these efforts to overturn the election. The famous phone call with Brad Raffensperger, the Georgia Secretary of State, where President Trump asked Raffensperger to go out and get him 11,780 votes, exactly the number of votes he needed to win Georgia. Well, that call was set up by Mark Meadows. The first voice you hear on that call is Mark Meadows identifying himself.
Once again, I want to point out that immunity, I'm pretty sure unless Jack Smith has worked out something with Fonnie Willis in Georgia, federal immunity don't protect you from the state prosecution, which he has also been indicted in Georgia on election interference charges.
And bringing in the President of the United States. So Meadows has tremendous visibility on what was going on with Donald Trump during that entire period. And I've outlined for you through our excellent reporting by our team, including Catherine Falders, our reporter, detailing what he said about the election, what Meadows told Trump, or at least what Meadows has told investigators that he told Trump about the election. But this raises more questions. I mean, what else will Meadows testify to? He has, as we understand it, according to our sources, an immunity agreement an immunity order, which allows him to have immunity for what he told the grand jury. But Mark Meadows had closer visibility to what Donald Trump was doing in the final months of his presidency, I would say, than just about any other single human being.
And John, according to Catherine Falders in her reporting as well, she says that, Mark Meadows has spoken with special counsel Jack Smith's team at least 3 times this year, and that includes once before this federal grand jury.
Yeah, at least 3 conversations with the special counsel's team, the most significant being that appearance before the grand jury. And it was for that appearance to the grand jury that he has this immunity order, which means that he cannot be prosecuted for anything that he talked about to the grand jury. So, significant. I'd be very interesting to see the reaction from Trump allies. But this is just the latest in a long string of people who were very close with Donald Trump, who worked with him to try to win that election, who worked with him to try to...
Warlord, do we have a Truth Social statement from Trump? Can you find that? Find out if we have one yet.
challenge those election results that has now come out and said, in fact, no allegations of widespread fraud turned out to be true.
And John, while speaking with investigators, Meadows was specifically asked if Trump ever acknowledged to him that he had lost the election. We know that has been a huge sticking point in this case. And according to your sources in this reporting, Meadows told investigators that he never heard Trump say that.
We do indeed. Michael Cohen. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. No. Mark Meadows. We're gonna get to Michael Cohen testified in the fraud trial earlier today, and I think I might actually have video of Trump talking about that. No, I need a statement on Meadows.
Yeah, Meadows specifically asked.
I know all the M names and all the different charges against Trump. It's easy to get confused.
About what he heard from Trump on this. Said that he never once heard Trump even privately acknowledge that he had lost the election.
Right, and that could be key here, right, John, as we move forward, because they would have to prove, right, that he knew that he had lost, believed that he had lost, and tried to
No Meadows statement yet, apparently.
It's a complicated case. I wouldn't say that is a definitive thing that in terms of all the allegations of election interference, but it is a key thing that the special counsel...
Wait, he was talking about Michael Cohen 24 minutes ago? This Mark Meadows thing is breaking as we're coming on, but like it broke in the last couple of hours. So like I would think that he has already gone ballistic, but apparently he's still hung up on Michael Cohen's testimony from earlier today.
Trying to establish is that Donald Trump knew that he lost and knowingly tried to overturn an election that he knew he had lost. And the way they've tried to establish this, and the January 6th committee did this as well, is showing all of the people in and around Donald Trump who told him point blank that the allegations of fraud...
Even Ivanka told him.
...turning out to be true. So now you have another person, perhaps the most important person yet, saying to prosecutors that, yes, he told Donald Trump that the allegations coming in were not proving to be we're proving to be baseless. So it's another piece of the puzzle, but no, Meadows did not testify that Trump himself ever even.
Wait a minute. So CBS is reporting a statement from Mark Meadows' lawyer that this ABC News story that I'm playing you right now is largely inaccurate. But this is coming from Meadows' lawyer. This is like we heard from the lawyer for Cheesebro last night. And he was also being coy. So, I mean, lawyers are paid to represent their client's best interest. I take it with a grain of salt. ABC News is usually pretty accurate in their reporting.
Privately acknowledged he lost.
I've also seen other people report it.
Of course, our thanks to you for your reporting. We appreciate your time. For more on this, I want to bring in former Republican Congressman from New York, John Katko, former Republican Congressman from Virginia, Barbara Comstock, along with ABC senior executive.
Rolling Stone is reporting it, but they might be citing ABC. CNN is citing ABC. So this is, as I said, this is developing. Okay, the Rolling Stone article quotes ABC News. The Guardian is also quoting ABC News, so this is an ABC News scoop. But George Terwilliger, also known as Sideshow Bob, said that he told ABC News that their story was largely inaccurate. People will have to judge for themselves the decision to run it anyway. So that's the latest that we have. ABC News saying that Mark Meadows struck a deal for immunity. Meadows' attorney is saying it's largely inaccurate. Huh. It's interesting that Trump, and this was apparently a retruth from Trump. It's kind of odd that we're not getting a Trump statement. I don't know what you would like it. I don't know if this flows better if I do Jenna Ellis first, if I do Michael Cohen. Let's go ahead and do Michael Cohen, since I have the Michael Cohen statement over here. Michael Cohen testifying in the civil case, the civil fraud case currently ongoing in New York City. That is where you saw Trump walk out of the courtroom earlier. Venus, I don't know if I told you good evening. So we saw Trump walk out of a courtroom. That was in the civil case that is currently ongoing clinically. Good evening. Michael Cohen testified earlier today in that case.
Michael Cohen testified as part of a civil fraud case against former President Trump and his company.
Trying to keep you straight on all the different
$250 million lawsuit. New York's Attorney General
legal exposures.
Trump inflated his net worth in order to receive business and financial benefits. Trump has denied all the allegations. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa joins us now from outside the courthouse in New York. Robert, it's great to see you. What were some of your main takeaways from Cohen's testimony today? I mean, this is a man who used to be pretty much the former president's right-hand man.
Good to be with you, Ouija. Michael Cohen, Trump's longtime fixer, testified that Trump, in private conversation...
I'm sorry. Gaily going forward, I will correct myself.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Good evening, Richard. I named that one Kennedy Wants Cock.
Encouraged him and other Trump associates to inflate his assets, including his properties like Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower, and that Cohen and others worked at Trump's behest to do exactly that, to fulfill what Trump wanted, which is to have his net worth moved.
Locomotion, good evening.
At one point, Cohen testified today that Trump thought his net worth was $4.5 billion, but it really felt like $6 billion. And he wanted his aides and advisors to make sure that all of his financial statements got to that $6 billion number.
Well, during a break, Trump
$6 billion?
spoke briefly about seeing Cohen again. Let's take a listen and connect with you on the other side.
How do you feel to see Michael Cohen again? I haven't seen him in years, and you know his record. His record is a horrible one. All you have to do is ask the Southern District of New York. He's got a horrible record, but they're just starting. But you'll see how it ends up. What about the testimony? It's not going to end up very good for him.
So wait a minute. So do we trust the Southern District of New York now and the people that they prosecute? Because that would implicate you. So it's not a witch hunt. The Southern District of New York is on the level.
We're not worried at all about his testimony.
It's no surprise that Mr. Trump is not holding back, but I wonder how his presence inside the courtroom changes things, if at all.
It's interesting to sit there in the courtroom, as I did today, for a few hours, to watch the former president as he interacts with his lawyers. He can't say anything in the courtroom, and for Trump, that's an unusual circumstance, to not be able to speak out, someone who is so often in public life, someone who is giving his opinion in many different ways, whether it's in a social media post or in a rally speech. Here in the courtroom, he has to be quiet, but he does shrug his shoulders. Sometimes he throws his hands in the air, but he does it in a way so he doesn't cause a disruption. So it's a very muted appearance by Trump, but he did not ever seem to look at Cohen much. They did not have much eye contact from what we could tell here at CBS.
So they aren't allowing cameras in for the actual proceedings, but they're allowing them in before and after and shit. So that's why we get these shots of Trump waiting for the proceedings to begin. It's fantastic. They just make him sit there and take it.
From what we could tell here at CBS News.
And he's seething.
I see tension in the room about what was unfolding as Cohen detailed all of this alleged fraud.
All right, Robert Costa, thank you again for joining us.
But I mean, they allow reporters in, so there are reporters in the courtroom. That's why we have firsthand accounts. What is going on? It's been a really, really bad day for Donald Trump. And, like, the start of it was first thing this morning in a Fulton County courtroom where the third lawyer that worked for Donald Trump pled guilty to election interference. Here's Jenna Ellis.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the opportunity to address the court. As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibility as a lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information.
Ma'am, what you just said you were listening to Rudy Giuliani. You shouldn't do that.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. For those failures of mine, Your Honor, I have taken responsibility already before the Colorado bar who censured me, and I now take responsibility before this court and apologize to the people of Georgia. Thank you.
Cried in front of the judge. She pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting false statements and rottings. Prosecutors said she attended a meeting with Georgia lawmakers where Trump's personal lawyer and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani made false claims about voting irregularities. How long until Rudy pleads? The meeting was part of an unsuccessful effort to persuade lawmakers to refuse to certify Biden's narrow victory in the state. So the plea agreement calls for her to be sentenced to 5 years of probation and hit with a $5,000 fine. If you knew you were going to get caught, you wouldn't have done it. That's the kicker right there. Ah, shit. That's the wrong video. Okay, I've got some cats making noises at each other, which is a preview of the video I have for later on in the show. I had a clip of Trump talking about Jenna Ellis and taking shots at Tom Emmer. I've lost it. I'm sorry. That was perfect. Here we go. So Trump, I believe when he was leaving the courtroom, where this could have been during a recess at some point in time in the middle of the day, asked about, I don't think Tom Emmer had dropped out of the race yet, but Jenna Ellis had pleaded guilty.
Mr. President, are you concerned about Jenna Ellis' plea deal?
No, don't know anything about it. Don't know anything. We're totally innocent of everything. That's political persecution.
What about Tom Emmer being...
She was a big fan of that. And in order to do something, I guess she made it feel it's too bad to see it. But no, not at all. Tom Emmer, it looks like he's finished. He was not a supporter. He was a rhino. And it looks like he's finished, but we'll see. You never know.
Okay, I just want to point out that Emmer absolutely kissed fucking Donald Trump's ass. Maynard! God damn it! He is wanting to give fucking Socks a hard time. Socks over here just sleeping, not bothering anybody. Oh my God. Yeah, Tom Emmer is not an election denier, though apparently he did write an amicus brief. He wrote an amicus brief for the Supreme Court. So he wasn't one of the Republicans that challenged the election, but did write an amicus brief for the Supreme Court. And now he's got a hairball. Maynard doesn't like attention. He is not impressed. But he's in there trying to hack up a hairball now. This cat's been driving me crazy all day. He's being really Trump-esque.
Do you support anyone else for Speaker, sir?
I'll let you know. The trial is going, as you can see, extremely well. Thank you very much. Shouldn't be a trial. There shouldn't be a trial. It's called election interference. Should not be a trial. Thank you very much.
That was as he was heading back into the courtroom. This was probably after an afternoon recess. Emmer later on, after these comments from Trump, dropping out of the race, putting us right back at square one. So last night, I said that they would be meeting in conference this morning to name a nominee and that we would possibly get a House floor vote later on in the day. They nominated Tom Emmer. And within hours, Emmer had dropped out of the race.
It's 11 a.m. on Capitol Hill, where the first round of voting to nominate a new candidate for House Speaker is over. CBS News congressional correspondent.
Did I get the fucking wrong video? God damn it. Jesus Christ. That's not the... No, there we go. That'll work. I deserve a titty slap for this.
News, more chaos as Republicans in the House of Representatives. A band of politicians already drowning in chaos. Moments ago, Tom Emmer of Minnesota, the latest to lead the pack of candidates for House Speaker, dropped out. He had more votes than anyone else, but not enough to get elected. With the chaos, here's Darla Miles. Darla?
Sade, this is an extremely troubling development. With so many factions of House Republicans, there really does not seem to be a clear path forward to elect a new speaker. Tom Emmer was able to come out after 5 secret ballots earlier today, but during a roll call vote this afternoon, he was 25 votes short of the votes needed to pass a floor vote. Sade, House Republicans have now considered 11 different members of the House as their next speaker. 9 of those candidates were within the last 24 hours alone. And of those 9 this morning, some of them dropped out in advance and others fell extremely short on votes. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer eventually won, but knowing he could not get to that magic number of 217, he dropped his bid just a few minutes ago. Now, hours after he became the nominee, former President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, writing, voting for a globalist Republican in name only, or as he says, a rhino like Tom Emmer would be a tragic mistake. And that opposition obviously is no surprise, as Emmer voted to certify the 2020 election results. And the post seemed to be the final blow to completely sink Emmer's bid this afternoon. But his voting record was also a huge obstacle. His vote to codify same-sex marriage and his support of the bipartisan spending bill to avoid a government shutdown in September was also a big problem for some conference members. But this continued Republican infighting has lasted 21 days. The House is completely paralyzed. No legislation is being passed, including critical aid to Israel and Ukraine. And then there is another possible government shutdown looming just about 23 days away. So it's still a big mess right now. It's chaos, and we'll just have to continue to follow it.
You are not going to believe what I'm getting ready to tell you now. God damn it. Like, I am shocked at what I just read. Presidential candidate Tim Scott is pitching Newt Gingrich as a possible candidate for House Speaker. Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House in 1994 when Republicans retook the House during the Clinton administration. Poor Lord, you'd know him. He cheated on his wife. Multiple wives. I think he cheated on one of his wives while she was dying, if I remember that correctly. Am I right? Somebody back me up with that. He cheated on one of his wives as she was dying. That could have been Rush Limbaugh. But I'm almost certain that he cheated on a wife. He's had like 3 or 4 of them, if I remember correctly. He's been a Fox News commentator. It's embarrassing, and it's going to cost us if this continues. It will cost us in 2024. Tim Scott said. Oh no, there's a new update. Okay, so it was Newt Gingrich. She had cancer. Oh my God, what in the fuck is this update gonna be? Oh. Voting is now underway on tonight's first secret ballot, so they're still trying to nominate somebody behind closed doors. This is according to Representative Austin Scott and Representative Dan Crenshaw, who I would give anything in the world to piss in his open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. This is fucking absurd. Newt fucking Gingrich. Roger Williams of Texas. Don't even fucking know who that is. Formally announced his bid for Speaker after he was named by the GOP conference chair Elise Stefanik in a tweet tonight as one of the 6 Republicans running after Emmer dropped out. For over 52 years, I've run a successful small business. My God, he's an old motherfucker then. The White House has weighed in and said only the GOP can help themselves. McCarthy is floating a partnership with Jim Jordan as assistant speaker. Now, I've said this all along. Kevin McCarthy expects to be the Speaker of the House again. Like, they're just going to decide on Kevin McCarthy all over again. Now, he's floating a plan to have, like, Jim Jordan as his assistant speaker. I wonder what Rush Limbaugh would have to say about this.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
Drawing straw, they might as well, Richard. So the House stands in recess until tomorrow at noon. I doubt there's going to be a vote tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. This is fucking wild. Unprecedented in the history of this country. Congratulations on voting Republicans, dipshit. Congratulations on voting Republican, dipshits. I'm talking about their voters. I said that one back asswards. God, that was so much fun, and now we gotta move to a topic that totally isn't fun. Content warning. About to get heavy. I didn't talk about it last night. I'm gonna, like, everybody else is talking about it. Like, whole shows are being devoted to it. So, I gotta catch everybody up on exactly what's going on. Try to touch on some things that maybe other people have not touched on. The UN's Antonio Gutierrez calls for an immediate ceasefire to end the epic suffering in Gaza. UN's Antonio Gutierrez calls for immediate ceasefire to end the epic suffering in Gaza. Israel has called for the immediate resignation of Gutierrez. The absurdity! McCarthy served as Speaker of the House for what? It was in February when he was elected. Shy of 8 months. 7.5, 7 and some change, something like that. UN's Antonio Gutierrez calls for immediate ceasefire to end the epic suffering in Gaza. Israel demands the immediate resignation. I shouldn't laugh. The IDF has been trying to dunk on the UN on Twitter. It's absurd. The Israeli envoy slammed the remarks from Gutierrez at the Security Council as justification for terror. The FM canceled a meeting with him and called him a terror apologist. It sounds like the terror apologist is actually in the Israeli government because the UN chief is calling for an end to the terror that you are inflicting on the Palestinian people. The Secretary General's comments spark fierce row, and Israeli calls for resignation as 700 deaths are reported in a day and hospitals closed for want of electricity. That's a war crime. The United Nations Secretary General has called for an immediate ceasefire to end the epic suffering in the Gaza Strip after Israeli airstrikes reportedly killed more than 700 people in a single day, and hospitals began to shut down for a lack of fuel. Antonio Guterres said the bombardment and blockade of Gaza amounted to the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. A war crime. And it violated international law. And this was comments that sparked a fierce row with Israel to ease epic suffering, make the delivery of aid easier and safer, and facilitate the release of hostages. The Israeli government is pushing for a ground invasion. Hostages be damned. Families of the hostages have been meeting with the UN, and the Israeli government is pressuring them not to. It is appalling. Gutierrez said the 7th of October attacks by Hamas were appalling. Appalling, appalling. He condemned. But did not happen in a vacuum, and that is correct. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation. They've seen their land steadily devoured by settlements and plagued by violence, their economy stifled, their people displaced and their homes demolished. Their hopes for a political solution to their plight have been vanishing. Every single word of that is correct. Israel's envoy to the UN, Gilad Erdan, called on Gutierrez to resign immediately, accusing him of being detached from reality. His comments constitute a justification for terrorism and murder. It's sad that a person with such views is the head of an organization that arose after the Holocaust. My God! To use the Holocaust as propaganda for your genocide of the Palestinian people, that's beyond the pale. Fuck. The Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen canceled a planned meeting with Gutierrez. Airstrikes killed at least 704 people in the past day. The Hamas-run health ministry said brings the Gaza death toll after 18 days of bombing to 5,791. Almost half of that number is children. Almost a 9, because that's how we measure tragedy now in 9/11s. Almost a 9/11 of children killed by the Israeli army. So they did allow 8 trucks carrying food, water, and medicine to Gaza. Asked by reporters in Washington whether aid was getting into Gaza, the U.S. President Joe Biden said, not fast enough.
Come on, man.
3 hospitals no longer functioning. They have run out of fuel. Apparently, fuel supplies are not going to be included in any shipments to the territory. Jesus. Now, the IDF held a press conference. I was catching up on it as I got off of stream last night, and amazingly enough, the worst atrocities detailed in this press conference, there were no links to videos. There were just descriptions of the supposed videos that were being shown at the press conference. I could not verify that these videos even exist, but apparently were shown during this press conference yesterday. I did watch one of them. It's pretty harrowing. I don't know if I should show it. Israel shows footage of Hamas killings to counter the denial of atrocities. I will point out, like, there's not even a claim of 40 beheaded babies anymore. Israeli authorities have shown harrowing footage of killings and mutilations during Hamas's rampage in southern Israel on October the 7th. The government showed the 43-minute compilation in a private screening for dozens of foreign journalists at a military base in Tel Aviv on Monday. This was to counter what they said were attempts to deny or downplay the extent of the atrocities. The footage, captured by security cameras, body cameras worn by Hamas attackers, vehicle dashboard cameras, social media accounts, and videos from mobile phones, left some reporters in tears. The material included the killing of children and decapitation of some victims. The audience was not allowed to record the compilation, but one excerpt, not allowed to record the compilation, but only a 1-minute excerpt of this 43 minutes released to the public. This is the video that I watched last night. It's the one attached to The Guardian. You guys want me to play it? Let's have audio here in a second when we get to the body cameras. They're just firing indiscriminately at this vehicle. Pretty bad. Perhaps I'll cut it off before we actually look into the vehicle, which is at the end of the video. But you can see this is just a civilian vehicle being fired upon by Hamas fighters. You'll see it crash. We're going to cut to body camera footage.
Hey, gas! Stop! Hello?
So I'll cut away before we see bodies. Though The Guardian did blur it out. Another scene, Hamas attackers entered a house and spoke to a girl hiding under a table. After some talking back and forth, they shoot and kill her. This is according to Jotum Confino, one of the correspondents at the screening. Hard to say how old she is, but she looked 7 to 9 years old. Another scene showed a father and his 2 sons, aged approximately 7 and 9, running in their underwear to what appeared to be a bomb shelter. A Hamas attacker threw a grenade, killing the man. The boys emerge bloodied and run. Dad's dead. It wasn't a prank. The other one shouts, "I know, I saw it. Why am I alive?" Other sequences showed a militant with an architectural tool hacking at the head of a man lying on the ground, gunmen killing wounded female Israeli soldiers, and a jubilant Hamas fighter calling his family, "I killed 10 Jews." I probably shouldn't say that. I'll let you guys read that one. I already have enough ammo in the Cancel Justin Discord. Already enough video floating around of me saying some horrendous shit that people could take out of context. Another clip showed an Israeli woman inspecting a partially burned woman's corpse to see if it was a family member. Good evening, Snicks. You may want to come back in like 5 or 10 minutes. We're at the worst part of the show right now. But it gets better. It gets better. We get to some bullshit here. God, you missed. It was all bullshit at the top. It was all funny. We were making fun of Trump and his lawyers and shit. Came in at the worst part. Another clip showed an Israeli. Well, sorry, BB girl. Another clip showed an Israeli woman inspecting a partially burned woman's corpse to see if it was a family member. The victim's dress was pulled up to her waist and her underpants had been removed. They're saying this is evidence of rape. Still images showed a decapitated soldier, charred human remains, including those of a young child or young children, and several Islamic State flags. When we say Hamas is ISIS, it's not a branding effort. It was R. Adam Daniel Hagari who said that to reporters after the screening. Grisly scenes from the attack, in which more than 1,400 Israelis died, have been widely shared on social media in the past 2 weeks, but Ilan Levy, an Israeli government spokesperson, said there was a Holocaust denial-like phenomenon about the scale of the atrocities. That's a true statement. I'm just not sure that we're on the same side about who's doing the Holocaust level denial. The screening took place amid renewed appeals to Israel to halt its bombing of Gaza, which killed at least 400 Palestinians in the past 24 hours. 23,000 children have died since they started bombing Gaza and the West Bank. They have hit the West Bank, bringing the total death toll in the territory to more than 5,000. The dead include 2,055 children. About 1.4 million people, more than half of Gaza's population, has been displaced in the retaliatory bombing, creating a humanitarian calamity for people that are trapped and deprived of water, food, and medicine. Yeah, Richard, if those were the worst scenarios, and I would assume that they were, then that is that is a lot different than the initial stories that we heard about 40 beheaded children. And plus, I watched the way Hamas treated the hostages, and I think we're going to see the video in this piece I'm getting ready to show you. They released 2 more hostages. We got the Americans released the other day. I think I covered that on Sunday night. We've had 2 more hostages that were released around the time we got off stream last night.
Across Gaza, there's widespread destruction as Israel's military has continued to pound targets from the air. It says it's preparing unrelenting attacks to dismantle Hamas. But most of the more than 5,000 Palestinians who've been killed are civilians. The United Nations says 20 lorries of aid entered via the Rafah crossing yesterday with food, water and medicine, but no desperately needed fuel to power hospitals and pump water. It's estimated that 1.4 million people are homeless, including the Abwasi family, who are originally from Blackpool, speaking here at the Rafah crossing.
We had to run from our house in the middle of the night, and many buildings near us have been bombed and that. And one night we had to run to the hospital because we heard a noise in the street and we thought the house across from us was going to get bombed. And now we're just here today waiting for the Rafah crossing to open, inshallah.
The release of 2 more Israeli hostages, the 3rd and 4th in 3 days, gives just a glimmer of hope that international mediators can achieve more. Yolande Nell, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Well, for more on developments in the...
That's what I was thinking. That's a very British accent.
Hugo Bachega, who's in southern Lebanon. And Hugo, we have the French President Emmanuel Macron arriving in Tel Aviv this morning.
Ida, good evening.
Do send a message to actors who might want to get involved in this conflict. I'm speaking about Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, where you are. What kind of a message does it send to Hezbollah?
Yeah, Catherine. So I think a number of Western officials have warned Hezbollah and also Iran, which backs groups across the region, against any kind of escalation in this conflict. So I'm here in southern Lebanon near the Lebanese-Israeli border. So a lot of attention has been on this part of the region because of these cross-border attacks that have been happening between Hezbollah and Palestinian factions here in Lebanon and the Israeli army. And I think, again, perhaps we're going to hear a message from the French president later today, warning different players, groups, countries in the region against any kind of escalation. And it's interesting that yesterday, again, American officials raised their concerns about the possibility of an escalation of violence across the region. John Kirby, the White House National Security spokesman, said that the Biden administration was deeply concerned about the potential for any significant escalation of attacks in recent days. And we've been talking about Hezbollah in the last few days.
And this doesn't even get into the IDF is going heavy on this Iran was involved propaganda. It really seems like Israel wants to draw Iran into this.
But it's very interesting and very important to say that there have been a number of incidents across the Middle East in recent days, in Syria, in Iraq. Bases housing American soldiers have been targeted in drone and rocket attacks, and I think the suspicion here and the accusation actually that was made yesterday by Mr. Kirby is that Iran is encouraging those groups and actively facilitating some of those attacks. So the concern obviously is that there could be an escalation in those attacks being carried out by groups all across the region.
And Hugo, over the weekend, Israel carried out one of its biggest airstrikes on southern Lebanon since this conflict began. Where do things stand at the moment in terms of the cross-border skirmishes we've been seeing where you are?
So the last week saw an intensification of those attacks, and the situation is obviously very tense here. Yesterday we visited some villages along the border. Many residents have left. One of those villages was completely deserted, so that gives you a sense of how concerned people are on this side of the border. And
I mean, DJW is not a crackpot theory. I mean, I've shown... I've shown this article numerous times. I've had to keep pulling it up. The Netanyahu government has been funding and propping up Hamas for years. And it was to undercut the Palestinian Authority. Now, did they... This is like 9/11, right? I don't think that the Bush administration actively committed 9/11. Just like I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein needed any encouragement to kill himself, right? Like, he was in Rikers. It's a fucking horrible place. He's facing the rest of his life in prison. Like, he didn't like, the conditions are there for Jeffrey Epstein to have committed suicide. The conditions were put in place by the U.S. when we funded Al-Qaeda, the Mujahideen in our proxy war with Russia. When we destabilized the region, pumped it full of fucking weapons, radicalized the population, and didn't do our part in helping stabilize them. So, fucking, I don't think Israel legitimately planned out the attack, but they have absolutely set the conditions in motion. Just like the UN chief said, you know, it didn't happen in a vacuum.
And yesterday, I think we had a figure of 19,000 residents who've left. That was a figure that was released by the International.
Well, thank you, DJ Dub.
Migration. So many residents are fleeing some of those border villages. Many people still remember.
I mean, it's not like the brain on Paris Hilton's baby. I'm sorry, that's horrible of me. It's horrible of me. I deserve a titty slap.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
I'm sorry. Right in the middle of right in the middle of all this seriousness. But they aren't focusing on the thing I wanted them to focus on. So it's a good thing I had this story in my back pocket here from Reuters. Freed Israeli hostage says, "I've been through hell." I thought it had video. Well, damn. No, I swear it had video. I watched part of it. What in the hell? I knew there was video. But they're not showing the video of Hamas handing them over. Hamas is taking really good care of them as they hand them over. Now that, once again, I mean, it's propaganda. They knew cameras were on. I'm going to see if I can dig up that video.
My mom is telling the horrific stories. She's saying that many people, a swarm of people, came through the fence. The defense cost 2.5 billion shekels, and it didn't help even a little bit. My mom is saying that she was taken on the back of a motorbike with her body, with her legs on one side and her head on another side. That she was taken through the plowed fields with a man in front on one side and a man behind her. And that while she was being taken, she was hit by sticks by Shabab? Yeah, Shabab people. Until they reached the tunnels. There they walked for a few kilometers on the wet ground. There are a huge network of tunnels underneath. It looks like a spider web.
Walking in the spider webs. Leave a message and they'll call you back. So yeah, it's weird that we have not seen this footage in either of the stories that we just watched from Reuters or the BBC. And once again, they know cameras are on them. These are Hamas fighters. He's holding his hand. That's the woman we just heard from. Apparently there's no audio. So giving them food. Once again, they know cameras is on or on them. I wish we had audio, but I assume that we wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying anyway. Oh shit.
It's okay, let's go. It's okay, let's go.
You go with this one.
So she's telling him peace and shakes his hand.
You go with this lady. I'll go with the other.
That's either the Red Cross or the Red Crescent. One thing, when we are watching propaganda from a terrorist group, I will say that.
It's okay, let's go. It's okay, let's go. You go with this one.
He's waving bye to her. She shook his hand. I mean, I condemn the idea of taking hostages.
He condemn.
But that is the footage the mainstream media won't show you. And because it's propaganda from a terrorist group, however, like, it's important, you know. Fucking the IDF is also propaganda from a terrorist group. I condemn them too.
He condemn.
And just in case you didn't see this one earlier,
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
should have been doing work that makes me money. However, I was doing that today. Felt like we needed some. We'd like been a little still. Haven't added a new one in a while, so I knew the people wanted the titty slap. Get it! I just wanted to put him on a leather daddy. Perhaps if I hadn't have blended the skin and made them look, you know, the same tone and everything. Maybe if I'd used a cartoon body, possibly. A Washington state senator was arrested in Hong Kong. Apparently, exercising his constitutional right as American, carry a fucking gun. But you ain't in America, pal.
Washington state senator faces charges in Hong Kong after carrying a gun into the city. He says that gun made it past security at PDX without being detected. Fox's Mia Villanueva joins us live in the studio with the story. Mia, good morning.
Kim, good morning. State Senator Jeff Wilson, who represents Longview, was arrested at Hong Kong International Airport on Saturday. He's now charged with possession of a firearm without a license. That's a crime punishable by up to 14 years in prison and a fine of more than $12,000. Wilson was granted bail yesterday. He's due back in court on Monday. The Republican says he did not realize he packed his pistol in his briefcase while he and his wife were traveling for a 5-week vacation to Southeast Asia. He says he discovered it mid-flight between San Francisco and Hong Kong, and it passed through airport security at PDX, and baggage screeners did not notice it. He says when his plane landed in Hong Kong, he went to...
The TSA is absolutely fucking useless. Can we please get rid of them?
Customs and officials alerted them. Wilson says his gun is registered in Washington, but under Hong Kong's strict gun control laws, no one is allowed to have guns or ammo unless they have a license from the Commissioner of Police. Now, those licenses are only given to police officers, security guards, and operators of shooting range clubs. Now, we received a statement from TSA.
Security theater.
It says officers are aware that a passenger on a flight departing from PDX passed through security and traveled with an unloaded firearm in his carry-on bag. It says they're taking this situation very seriously and they are currently investigating. Kim and Shauna, back to you.
All right, Mia.
Of course he's a Republican. Speaking of dipshits with a gun, a cop went to a trunk-or-treat event.
Clock, a St. Louis County police officer accused of firing shots at a Kirkwood trunk-or-treat, now out of a job. Matthew McCullough is the son of former St. Louis County prosecutor Bob McCullough. The police department confirming to First Alert 4 he is no longer with the department as of October 19th. McCullough faces 11 felony counts, including 5 counts of armed criminal action and 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. He will be back in court later this week.
Leaving out a lot of details, aren't you there? We have other reporting.
Louis County officer locked up tonight, accused of turning a family fun Halloween event into a horrifying experience in Kirkwood. Court documents are revealing new details about the officer opening fire with hundreds of kids around, leaving many parents upset tonight.
There's a lot of anger and sadness that I feel because there's a lot of loss of joy and excitement that those kids, they missed out on.
Victoria Dysars and her kids were at the Tillman Elementary trunk-or-treat event Sunday held at Kirkwood North Middle when the unthinkable unfolded.
His hand was in the air holding a gun.
Police say that man was 39-year-old Matthew McCullough, a St. Louis County police officer since 2017, and son of former county prosecutor Bob McCullough.
I could very clearly see that there was nothing behind his eyes. He was looking in our direction, but not looking at anything at all, and smiling really big, and then pop, pop.
McCullough now faces 11 criminal charges, including counts of armed criminal action, endangering the welfare of a child.
Exactly, Tones. How is this unthinkable to you? It's just another day in mass shooting USA.
And making a terrorist threat. Court documents shine more light on those charges, saying McCullough aggressively approached people at the event and made the statement, "You are all going to die." Event goers shoved McCullough to the ground after
he ain't wrong. No one lives forever. But if somebody walks up to you and says that, it's kind of scary.
he made threats. Police then say the county cop stood up, pulled up his shirt and showed his gun and badge, and fired his weapon to the sky about a dozen times.
It kept going over and over, and I heard people running and screaming. I didn't know what to do, really.
St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell tells First Alert 4 his office doesn't.
She didn't know what to do because she's used to doing fucking school shooting drills, and there's no desk to hide under.
Doesn't have a conflict in handling the case, despite Matthew McCullough being the son of a longtime prosecutor and the nephew of current St. Charles County Prosecutor Joe McCullough. There's not a lot of information on Matthew's public record, but we do know his wife.
This is another instance where I would like to propose a law called the Higher Standard Law. If you are a member of law enforcement, if you are a politician, if you are a prosecutor, you should be held to a higher standard. You should face double whatever a normal citizen would face. I call it the Higher Standard Act. Let's propose this one to Congress. You too, presidents, Donald Trump, that means you should be held to a higher standard.
Filed for divorce earlier this year. And today, classes at Tillman Elementary were canceled and counselors were on hand for students to talk to. The district says classes will resume for students at Tillman tomorrow morning.
Meat cakes.
Find our in-depth coverage of the story right now on the KMOV News app.
Coming down.
Because my God, that dude deserves more than a titty slap on the wrist.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
The Supreme Court especially. Now, if you're a Florida man showing your junk to the cops, I'm probably going to cut you a little slack. So I'm probably gonna be amused by that. Let's go to Florida, where a dude's trying to kick authority in the balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls
while showing his.
What I do? I ain't brandishing. Where's my weapon? Where's my weapon? Where's my weapon?
A Florida man decides to bear all after going into a drunken rant and threatening to fight deputies. It happened on October 22nd in Palm Coast, Florida, when deputies responded to a report of a man acting
dicks out
and arguing with a woman in the street.
What address? Give me the address, because he said the same. What address? Who called other than that standing right there? Where? Where?
Authorities say 40-year-old Sean Madden, who you see here, went on a drunken and profanity-laced tirade as he screamed at Flagler County Sheriff's deputies who were attempting to de-escalate the situation.
I don't give a So listen, no, let's go. Let's go. I'm swinging on everybody. I'm swinging on everybody.
He's swinging.
I give a Go ahead.
I want to see it. Come on, I want to see the fight.
I'm not for shit. You think you're rolling up and you're telling me to calm down? I'm just asking. Nah, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I did shit wrong. What's going on, bud?
As deputies continue to calm Madden down, that's when he decides to, well, to let it all out.
Can we talk about it first? About what? What did I do? What did I do? I ain't brandishing shit. Where's my weapon? Where's my weapon? Where's my weapon? Nowhere.
The one dude was like, there we go. What? Sound like you're enjoying the show, my friend.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Looks like it's down at his...
What did I do?
Did he take him all the way off?
3. For what? For what?
He pulled him back up.
Hold on your pants in the middle of the road, bud. Oh, really? But yet 4 people can roll up on me and hold their hand
But hey. If you were to take him back to the police station, you're going to make him bend over and cough. So he was just trying to save you some trouble. I'm on his side.
Behind their back and act like they're going to do violence to me and I can't do shit.
But shortly after, Madden decides to surrender to law enforcement and they arrest him without incident.
Oh!
You're questioning it right now and I see you can hear it. Hey, I appreciate that. That's the way to go, bro. That's the way to go. I appreciate it.
Madden was cuffed and taken to jail. He was charged with disorderly intoxication, exposure of sexual organs, assault on an officer, and resisting arrest.
Hey, I saw no assault on an officer. I saw no resisting arrest. Fuck all the way off.
Without violence. Madden was later released after posting a $2,000 bond. Meanwhile, in Boulder, Colorado, police seized more than $15,000.
Holy God.
And he has a right to ride around with $15,000 and go like, you just seized $15,000? There's not fucking drugs or anything involved? This sounds sus.
Hey, Brett.
But it's not exactly what you think. Police eventually found out the cash was counterfeit, $17,000.
Okay.
Bills.
Okay, that's a crime.
No, they look fake.
According to Boulder police, the discovery happened after they stopped a driver who had invalid temporary tags on their vehicle. Once officers searched the vehicle, that's when police saw what they thought was the large stack of cash.
Hey, Brett.
Wait, invalid tags and you're searching the vehicle. Fuck all the way off. Bullshit.
Police say the driver, whose name was not released, also gave officers a fake name, but once that real name was revealed, cops found out that he had a felony warrant to appear in court for a car theft. The driver was charged with criminal impersonation and possession of an illegal weapon.
Oh, he was doing car theft. I condemn that.
Massachusetts, where police released body cam capturing what led up to more than half a dozen children being arrested for refusing to leave a fast food restaurant.
You're under arrest. What? You're under arrest. You're under arrest.
It happened on October 18th in Fall River, Massachusetts. Police say they responded to a local McDonald's after receiving a service call from a pharmacy across the street, claiming that the group of teens was causing a disturbance. Once the officer arrives, he approaches the cashier area to speak with management. Authorities say management expressed to police that the teens were not welcome due to several brawls breaking out, which took place prior to them entering the fast food restaurant.
From the manager, if you just walked in, time to leave, or you're going to be subject to trespass and will be arrested. I gave you the warning before you came in. They didn't want you in here. Time to leave, folks.
After the officers
They're just kids.
A couple warnings, he dispatches for backup.
1264. Go to need more cars at McDonald's. They want you out, man. It's not, I'm telling you to go. All right? You don't want to go? You want to give me a hard time? No problem. You are giving me a hard time because how many times did I say time to go? How much use the bathroom? How many times?
You gotta fight for your right to Arby's.
Handcuffs are coming on. First person that grabs going.
Shortly after a few more warnings from the officer, one of the teens in the group becomes confrontational after refusing to leave.
Listen, from the manager, he wants everybody out. Okay? So you either start leaving,
I don't see them doing anything wrong. However, like, it is a private establishment, and if the management asks them to leave, they are trespassing. So,
I'm telling you that. Okay? I already talked to the manager. So you either start leaving, or we're going to start locking people up. We have other people here. All right, time to go. Time to go.
Order for some enemies.
Time to go.
I know why.
Let him get a McChicken.
Because he doesn't want anybody in here.
So you mean mad people can stay here, but
we're kicking everybody out. We've got more cars coming.
There's all these other people here that's not ordering, so get them out.
But right now, I'm talking to you.
So you're
Yep, time to go.
Yeah, so you're gay.
What is it?
So you're gay.
All right, that's what it is. Go.
Next, the body cam captures a group of teens and the officers outside McDonald's, crowding the entrance as the teens attempt to go back inside.
No problem. What are you gonna do about it?
Gonna lock you up.
You're gonna get locked up. For what?
Also, just kicking them out because you're afraid they're going to cause fights, that sounds kind of discriminatory.
For what? They don't want you here. You're about to get locked up. Nigga, he's not gonna stay and get my food. That dog, nigga, I've been locked up, nigga. I know my rights. Watch your mouth.
Time to go.
He's trying to kick authority in the balls. I condone that.
The officer gives his final warning before making
He's
the
kicking
first
authority in
arrest.
the balls.
Last time, all the cruisers in the city are coming. If you're not saying down in, you're standing, time to go. You're under arrest. What? You're under arrest.
All the cruisers in the city are coming to arrest some kids at a McDonald's. What in the fuck is wrong with this country? He slammed his face into the door. Let me see your tattoos, copper.
Back up.
I didn't see the kids do anything.
They take him outside where he's shoved to the ground.
And just fucking teens suck.
Then
You shouldn't punish a teen for being a teen.
But he's quickly blocked by multiple officers who arrest him as well. Moments later, two officers can be seen struggling with the entrance door. One officer opens the door and appears to grab a teen girl from inside, shoving her to the building wall.
Yeah, that's excessive force.
Can I stand up? I'm good.
The body cam later cuts to one of the teens explaining himself to officers, saying he was just hungry.
Dude, you were told to leave numerous times. I told you to leave. I told you don't come back in the store. I told you not to come back in, and then you came back.
I don't get to eat shit today. I'm hungry. I'm gonna get food if I need to get food, bro. It's like that. I don't
Why
care.
didn't you have lunch at school?
Nigga, I don't eat that lunch. It's not good.
Okay, sir.
I don't blame him.
Officials say in total 8 children were arrested. All of them are facing trespassing charges, while some are facing additional charges of resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and disturbing the peace. Authorities say one person is also facing charges of assault and battery on a police officer.
No. The cop should face charges of assault and battery. I don't like criminalizing teens being teens. There was a video that went viral of a fight at a school. Apparently, a white kid said some racist shit and got his ass beat. And like everybody in the comments was like, "Oh, arrest him, blah 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 blah." Like, fucking kids get into fights. That's the thing. Especially if the kid said some racist shit. Hopefully, he learned a fucking lesson. I don't like criminalizing the behavior of children. The kids are stupid. They shouldn't be arrested for being stupid. They definitely didn't deserve all that force. Call their fucking parents. Jesus. They might not be able to afford to go to any other restaurant. They need to go get $2 McChickens or whatever. I thought it was excessive. I didn't see the kids doing anything all that bad, and the cops even said that like they were worried about fights breaking out. Not that there was any. Not that the kids had done anything that day, and that seems sus to me. Let the kids fight it out. I don't give a shit. Builds character. Got any Shania Twain fans in the audience? As the fucking cops, as with most videos we watch, the cops did something far more egregious than what the kids were accused of. Every fucking time. I'm trying to think of some like fucking Shania Twain songs to make jokes, and I can't do it. Like nothing is coming to my head right now. What was the Shania Twain song? I am drawing a complete blank. Did she even have any hits? You know Taylor Swift, though, so we're probably not going to get any puns in this story. I don't think that was her, was it? I've even watched like the behind the music on her. She was married to Mutt Lange, the dude that did the Warlord. Did you see the meme for today? Man, I feel like a woman. Dun, dun. Okay, cool. That's a Shania Twain song. This is the hottest costume this year for Halloween. Speaker of the House. We're gonna get a lot of mileage out of this one. Shania Twain concert caused well over $250,000 worth of damage to this venue.
Leslie says,
"Take that, Swifties."
When you try something new, sometimes there are growing pains. Evidently, that was especially true this summer when Shania Twain held the first ever concert at Geodis Park. News Channel 5's Chris Davis shares the lessons learned.
In addition to Nashville SC putting on quite the show at Geodis Park, over the last few months, there have been other showstoppers too.
There it is.
Ever put on a concert was Shania Twain.
whatever our expectations were for the venue, we've truly exceeded.
But in a Metro Sports Authority meeting last week, the CEO of Nashville SC admitted the show left quite the mark.
Hold on.
Talking about fans.
Whatever our expectations.
The TV station has put the video, like their editor put the video up on the, I guess there's a screen actually on the field. It's something that seemed kind of odd to me.
Were for the venue, we've truly exceeded.
But in a Metro Sports Authority meeting last week, the CEO of Nashville SC admitted the show left quite the mark. And we're not talking about fan impressions.
We tried to tell the promoter and other people about the integrity of the pitch and how it should be well managed. And we ended up with a $350,000 replacement of the field.
It was such a costly endeavor because the whole field needed replacing.
The integrity and the quality of the field is almost perfection in soccer.
Of course, that $350,000 price tag is nothing to wag your tail at, which is why we decided to sniff out some reactions.
That's a sizable amount of money, yes.
And it seemed only fitting to do so
Come here.
at a dog park close by.
He's like a little angel and a devil, and all in one.
That has a luxury Geodis Park can't have.
Yeah, we didn't get any Shania Twain puns. We got dog puns. This took a turn.
Price tag is nothing to wag your tail at, which is why we decided to sniff out some reactions.
That's a sizable amount of money, yes.
And it seemed only fitting to do so
Come here.
at a dog park close by.
Why?
A little angel and a devil, and all in one.
That has a luxury Geodis Park can't have. Artificial turf.
Of course there were going to be some mistakes, but, you know, she was the first one, and good for her for doing that.
Laura Holman said things must not be too rough, considering Guns N' Roses and Pink carried on with their shows.
They won't have a problem probably recouping, I would hope.
According to Nashville SC, they learned from the Shania performance to handle concert field maintenance themselves. And as a result, turf damage for the other two shows were only $25,000 combined.
As popular as the soccer team is, they probably want to get more music shows there. I mean, it is Music City, right?
Which means Nashville SC will remain committed to showstoppers, using kicks and hits alike.
Hopefully, moving forward, they'll learn from all that.
And how much does the city pay for that stadium? I'm sure there are all kinds of tax breaks, incentives, might just be shoveling money at them. $350,000. And there are plenty of homeless people in Nashville. We can't have health care in this country. But just $350,000 just to replace the goddamn grass at a sports venue where people don't even like soccer. Americans don't like fucking soccer.
Too rough, considering Guns N' Roses and Pink carried on with their shows.
They won't have a problem probably recouping, I would hope.
According to Nashville SC, they learned from the Shania performance to handle concert field maintenance themselves. And as a result, turf damage for the other two shows were only $25,000.
We need to bring in Scott Steiner to figure out the actual total here.
But then you take my 75% chance of winning and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
Scott Steiner's been doing the math for the GOP nominees for Speaker of the House. Did you call me sexist? At first I looked down and thought you said I was the sexiest man. And I'm like, well, thank you, Warlord. Flattery will get you everywhere.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Let's go from cock to pussy, shall we?
Ah!
He's talking to his cat.
Gato Juventino.
Oh, hold on. Do you really want to see something? Let me change to the speakers. Watch Smokey there in the background. They didn't like it earlier when I was playing this. He perked up. I'm amazed he didn't hop up. Oh, he just went to the window. He's looking outside to see if there's something outside. But now he's up on the speaker. He went towards the speaker. He's looking all over. He's like, where the fuck is it coming from? Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night. Maybe tomorrow day for a speaker vote. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. Who knows?